guys, I'm Aveline. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing day. So today we are building another house. This one is technically actually not a tiny house. However, I'm still calling it a tiny house because I started building it as a tiny house. I used the tiny home residential lot trait as well while I was building at the start. The interior is only 53 tiles or something like that. I don't remember the exact number. It's either 53 or it's 58. So the inside is very, very small. It's distributed on 2 different levels as well, so 2 different floors. So it's just a very, very small interior, which is why I'm still calling it a tiny house in the title. However, it won't actually count as a tiny house in the game because there are too many tiles outside. But once I kind of decided that I wasn't going to do it like a proper tiny home residential lot, I was just freely placing down tiles in the exterior, so the count or the roof counts as tiles too, for example, which usually I would kind of cheat if I was doing a tiny home residential lot. So that's why when you place it down, if you have tiny living, it won't count as a tiny house, but I'm still calling it a tiny house because it is super tiny on the inside, which you'll see in a little bit. It's also a part of my tiny house or career tiny houses. Yeah, let's call it that. So I don't want to do like a proper series of that. I just want to do a couple of them now and then. But the other day when I started building this, I was just really in the mood to build a tiny loft. And then I was thinking like, what kind of career could go with a tiny loft? Not what kind of house could go with a certain career, but the other way around. And I thought to myself that a fashion designer would kind of be fitting, so that is what we're doing today. This tiny loft is actually for a fashion designer. I do want to point out that they don't have the board, the idea board here in the house. They don't have a dedicated office space, so that's why I couldn't fit it in anywhere. Also because, like I said, the house is very, very small in the interior. I literally could not find a wall to put the idea board either, so it is what it is. But I think that a fashion designer would also have a separate studio somewhere, so you could have like a business set up in a place, like you're selling clothes in the game or something like that, and then have this little area office sort of situation in that build as well. That could be a possibility if you want to play in this house as a fashion designer. So you could design the clothes, technically not, but pretend, at the store and then also sell the clothes at the store. I think that would be kind of cool. No, it's not something that I'm going to be building myself because I don't enjoy building community lots, but in case anybody's looking for an idea, there you have it. And this house is for 1 or 2 Sims, so you could have a couple living here. I almost said living. It's like I mixed sleeping and living together. I don't know. Anyways, just merged the 2 words together. But anyways, you could have 2 Sims living here or just a single Sim, whatever you want to. I just, the double bed is available, or the double bed is functional on both sides. It's not up against the wall, even though I actually got a couple of comments saying that the scoot over trick, which has been not working for a while, is actually fixed. I haven't play tested it myself, but I know that before the latest update, the scoot over trick was still working for some people. It wasn't working for me. It hadn't been working for like 1.5 years or something like that. So I don't know if it's been fixed for everyone either, which is why I still don't want to rely on the scoot over trick. So I still want to make sure that I place double beds in the middle of the room so you have access to both sides, or your Sims will have access to both sides without, rooting problems and stuff. So I don't know, let me know, does that trick work for you guys again, or is it just a couple of lucky people out there that somehow managed to get it working again? If you don't really know what the scoot over trick is, it's basically when you have a double bed and you place it up against the wall, so only one of the sides of the bed is actually functional. You can still like have your Sim kind of scoot over to the other side. They'll be blocked by the other Sim sleeping next to them until that Sim gets out of bed. So if they have to get up in the night and pee, they can't actually crawl out of the bed. They'll have to wait until the other Sim also crawls out of the bed. So that's a little bit of like you have to play around with that a little bit. But it used to work for me like back in 2018. I think it was ruined by the Get Famous update or something like that. I don't really remember. It's a while ago by now. I don't remember details like that. So, but I know that I got a couple of comments on the last video from someone saying that it actually worked. So I don't know, let me know. And also at some point, just to point it out, because one of the last tiny lofts that I did, the last one that I did was an A-frame, but the one before that was a best friend's tiny loft. And for the exterior on that one, I went for one of my absolute favorite color schemes, which is basically like sort of like a medium or slash dark brown, but it's like a warm kind of brown, and mixed with white and also sort of like a gray color. I don't exactly know how to explain the color choices. You can find it on my channel if you're curious, but I almost went for the exact same color scheme for this one. As you can see right now, this is the brown that I'm talking about, where you see this little fence, which is not a fence, it's a wall divider. I just used it as a fence instead. But if you look at the color, not now, but before, that's the sort of like warm, dark brown, middle brown that I'm talking about. And now I'm using another wall divider to use or as a fence instead. So this one is from Discover University. It's because I needed the fence to be on a half tile, and you can't place fencing on a half tile, just like you can't place walls on a half tile, so I had to use wall dividers instead, which I actually like the look of. I do change them later on because it kind of hit me that I'm going for the same color scheme as I did with the last proper tiny loft, so I think I changed it to something like beige brown, and then so like beige or sort of like a light wood tone, and then white and also gray. And I don't know, I think something like that, and it sort of fits the interior as well, which is mostly gray, white, black, and then with a little bit of yellow here and there, because I thought that would be kind of fun, a little bit stylish and maybe a little bit different as well. I definitely did not want to go for red because I have a thing with like black, white, and red together. I used to love it, and now I just hate it. I don't know. It's funny how, or I don't really know if it's funny, but your opinions on different color schemes kind of changes through the years. So anyways, I hope you're all having a great day. I hope you're all doing amazing. I hope you're having an awesome week. I hope you're taking care of yourselves as well. Remember to stay safe still, because we're not fully through this pandemic situation that I'm not going to talk about in this video. But for those of you who are curious about how it's going here in Denmark, we've basically been, like, everything seems very normal. It has been for like a month or two, a month, I think, yeah. So, or 1.5 months maybe. I think they opened up a lot of stuff at the start of June. So it's been pretty chill. They still have like extra hygiene guidelines at the stores. There's still hand sanitizer at the grocery stores, and also just like stores in general. And I know that they still have some restrictions when it comes to how many people can be in the stores at the same time, but in general, everything kind of feels pretty normal by now. I know that schools are different, but I also think that children are actually on vacation right now, so they're not actually in school. So just FYI, summer vacation is still a thing. But it does feel a little bit weird sitting here in Denmark where life feels pretty normal and stuff, and then watching other places in the world that still don't have it under control, and you're just sitting here like, you can't really do anything. I wish that we could tell people, like, this is how we handled it. Maybe you can do the same that we did and it would work for you too. But, like, you can't really do that either. You can't tell people what to do. So, I don't know. I just hope that, I hope the best for your countries out there. I hope that you get it under control at some point, because it's hard to watch a little bit. Anyways, enough talk about that. Me and my mom actually planned to we're going to Paris, so at the end of February, we went to Paris for like 1.5 days or something. We drove there, which in itself took a day, and then, or I drove there mainly. I got to drive in the middle of the night, like 4 a.m. to 5 a.m. in snow. And I was so tired, and I'd been driving pretty much all day. And it was in France, where they drive a little bit differently compared to Denmark. It's like the further north you get in Europe, the slower people drive. Does that make sense? I don't know. Not saying that there was a correct way to drive or anything. I just, speaking from experience, because I've been to Italy quite a lot, they do drive differently there than they do in Scandinavia. So it's the same with France. It's just different driving, habits, or I forgot the word for that. But anyways, so that was fun, along with all the trucks in the middle of the night, and I couldn't see anything. But we drove to Paris back then, and then we were only there for 1.5 days because we had to go to a concert with a group, not a band, called Supreme. And we had it's a K-pop group for those of you who don't know. But anyways, so we had like a half a day after the concert to just chill around Paris, and we really wanted to go to the Louvre, but because Corona was the thing, like it just came to Europe actually at that point. I think it was going a little bit crazy in Italy at the time, but it hadn't really hit France properly, and it definitely hadn't hit Denmark yet. So we were in Paris, and we were afraid to like, we didn't really know what to do because there was this new virus, and you know, my mom has asthma. We wanted to take care of her and protect her and stuff so she won't get sick. So we decided to not stand in line for the Louvre, but we did decide that later in the year, once everything felt a little bit less chaotic, a little bit safer, that we'd go back and actually go sightseeing, because neither of us have really been sightseeing in France since, when was the last time we were tourists in Paris? I think it was in like 2012 or something, so it's a while ago. And it's a beautiful city, and I really love the city, so we decided to come back later on. And we finally actually planned it yesterday, so we're going in September. Granted that everything stays under control. If we see a rise in numbers, we're not going. But I'm planning on buying masks for us because it's a good idea to wear a mask, and it's scientifically proven that it's a good idea to wear a mask. Just saying. So yeah, we're gonna buy a couple of those and hopefully, you know, just stay hygienic. That's not a thing. Stay clean. I don't really know. And just, yeah, enjoy Paris for a little bit there. I don't know. I thought I would just tell you guys because we literally just planned it yesterday, finally. And I'm really excited because I haven't been traveling for a long time either, which feels weird. I have this need in my stomach to go travel or something. So I don't know how to explain that either, but I'm just really excited and I wanted to share it with you guys. So yeah. As you can see, we've kind of gotten far into the interior. I don't think we've done the upper floor yet. When I do my voiceovers, I don't actually watch the screen at all times because then I'll get distracted by what I'm doing while I'm building. So I'll like look away a little bit and then I'll lose track of where I am in the build. I know I shouldn't do it like that, but I can't look at the monitor for too long, like look at what I'm doing for too long. I'll get distracted, I won't be able to finish sentences, and it just works like that for me. So anyways, as you can see, we are starting with the upstairs. I actually had to extend one of the areas a little bit, or this little area over here, because it actually hit me that I had no room to place a proper dresser anywhere, and I really wanted them to have one of those open clothing racks because I feel like that's a very fashionable thing to have. If you don't have a walk-in closet, you have a clothing rack so you can show off either your creations or your favorite pieces in your wardrobe or something like that. But I didn't have any places to put it unless I put it outside. So I had to just extend that little area just a little bit. And you can now see down upon the dining table actually, which I kind of like. I somehow prefer to have it open to the kitchen/dining area than I do with the living area. I've done both, but I don't really know why that is, because technically it doesn't really make much sense. Like, you'd have all the smell going from the kitchen to the sleeping area or the bedroom area, and isn't that kind of nasty sometimes? I don't really know. I know there are people out there that have everything in one room, because I have a friend who used to live in like a studio apartment, so she'd have the kitchen, the living room, and then the bedroom actually her living room and bedroom was the same area. So I know that there's people out there, like students and stuff, that live in studio apartments where they actually have to make food in the same area they sleep in. But personally, if I could choose, I would definitely choose to have the bedroom area and also the whole kitchen area like separated, because the smell of food like hanging around the room when you're trying to fall asleep, it's kind of weird to me a little bit. So, but anyways, for some reason I just like having it open to the kitchen. It doesn't make any sense. It's fine. So now we moved on to the exterior. I think this is where I put another dining area, or not a dining area necessarily, but like there's a table and a couple of chairs. Very exciting. They got a lounge area on the front patio, so they do have like an opportunity to sit outside and just chill on the terrace. I placed this, I actually forgot to say this at the start of the video. Usually I do, but I forgot for some reason. So this is built in Newcrest on a 20 by 15. This is where I usually build my tiny houses, unless I'm doing like a cottage of some sort, then I'll build it in Windenburg. But these two lots right here, this one and the neighboring lot, are definitely my favorite ones to do like modern looking tiny houses or even suburban looking tiny houses, just because the whole neighborhood kind of fits that vibe, and they're small and the lighting hits the house in a nice way too. There's something with this lot, there's a trash can in the way which doesn't look good on thumbnails, but that's a YouTuber problem. So it doesn't really, if you're just playing the game, it doesn't really matter because you won't necessarily notice it, but if you need to take a thumbnail screenshot and you're taking it on this specific lot in the same angle that I tried to go for this house, you can actually see the facade of the house properly. I kind of got a trash can stuck in the picture, which bugged me a little bit, so I had to move the house to the other lot. It's again, it's a YouTuber thing. Like, I don't even know if anybody would notice if there's a trash can in the thumbnail screenshot. It's just something that bothers me. I suppose I could edit it out, but I'm too lazy to do that, so I'd rather just move the house to another lot and then just be done with it. So anyways, that's a little, I don't know, extra information for you guys in case you're curious. Out here there's another lounge area for them next to the little pool, which definitely fits the whole tiny house vibe. It's a very, very small pool. I do feel like the house itself does look like it's a little bit on the pricier end. You get what I mean? Like, it's newer, contemporary, and it's definitely not a budget tiny house. It's not a trailer or something like that. Even though I think you can get pretty expensive trailers too nowadays, can't you? I feel like the other day I was actually looking at tiny houses, and one of them was a trailer, but it was like made of like eco-friendly materials and stuff. It was insanely pricey. I don't remember the exact price of the tiny house. I just remember thinking that it was surprisingly expensive and that I could get an apartment for that price. So anyways, this house is definitely a bit on the pricier end when it comes to tiny houses, so they needed a pool. But that is about all I got for you guys today. So if you like this house, you can download it off the gallery. My ID is AvelineYT, and you can also find it under the hashtag Aveline or AvelineYT. And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you did, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
I've been running around in circles for so long. I never really understood what I did wrong. I was trying hard to find a place where I belong. I lived an empty life, but had to carry on. I guess I really was giving up on love, and I tried to block those feelings off. Said I do in a millisecond, then it all came back when I thought that everything was lost. On a cold November night, when I met my Mrs. Right, made my feelings come to life.